Hello, and welcome back to the Tap That Magic podcast. And today I am getting into the nitty gritty of content with you because, content has been one of those things that I've truly been studying for a good year and a half now. But the funniest thing happened probably about 5.5 months ago, where I had been really every single day showing up. Well, actually, if we're being honest, I've been creating for about 2 years now, where I've been showing up every single day. But at that time, I had been creating these pieces of content and it just wasn't landing the way that I wanted it to land. And it just didn't feel the way that I wanted it to feel whenever I showed up on social media. And the thing was I was making sales from it and I was still being consistent, but there was an oomph, there was a magic, there was a spark that was missing from my content. And it wasn't until I actually started working with somebody that told me, she's like, "Hey, Stephanie, your content is lacking depth." And oh my God, in that moment, I was like, fuck, because I had been showing up every single day. I had been posting, I had been trying to actively get better. But whenever I took a step back and I really looked at my Instagram, I really looked at the things that I was creating, I was like, okay, she's got a true point here. And the funniest thing about that is instead of getting pissed off at this person, I then instead turned around and hired her for 6 months. Not even because it was like, oh my God, she's going to fix me, or oh my God, she's going to have all the answers. But no, I just admired A, the honesty, and B, the way that she was creating content. There was something about it that I could feel a full body, fuck yes, the way that she shows up on social media, even though I know that I'm supposed to do it different, there's something here and there's something that is making me excited to show up and excited to create every single day online. Because if you've listened to any of my things before, you know that we're not just here to do our entrepreneurial stuff. You could hire somebody to do all of your social media and be disconnected from that. And that is not the person that I'm talking to. I'm talking to the person who actually wants to fall in love with content creation, with showing up, whether it be on live video like this, like I'm recording right now, whether it be in your written content, whether it be in your actual videos of you recording on TikTok and on Reels or talking, whatever it is, you actually want to fall in love with the art of content creation, because truly it is the epitome of self-expression. The way that some people feel about their hobbies or about taking up painting is the way that I feel whenever I create an Instagram post now, is the way that I feel whenever I create a TikTok now. And it's one of those things that didn't come naturally to me. So I want to make that very clear. Content creation did not come naturally to me. I used to be a lavender farmer. I made all natural products from scratch. I had an Instagram for it, but I was actually paying somebody back then to do my content, and I was very disconnected from it, you know? And so there was, whenever I sold that farm and we sold the business and I moved into this next level, there was this whole part of falling in love with content creation that I did not know was going to happen. And I'm so glad it did. But for the longest time, I just needed some ideas to bounce off of. I just needed something that would put a little bit of a pep in my step, that would help me to create, help me to wake up every day and say, okay, I'm going to grab this thing and I'm going to create from there. I'm going to teach a lesson from there. This is my idea. I want this podcast, this video, whenever you listen back to it, to really be that spark that helps you come alive on social media, that gives you really good ideas, that helps you get to that depth, so that whenever you show up, you're showing up big. You're showing up improving yourself every day. You're showing up as the happiest version of yourself so that you can create an impact online. And so truly think about this as these little expander ideas, that from these ideas, either you can do them this exact way that we talk about, or you can take these ideas and let them spark something else for you. You can take these ideas and use them and then start creating them and making your own, because in no way, shape, or form should you ever feel like you need to be like cookie cutter online? Or am I saying that this is the only way to do it? This is the one way? No, I could probably make a list of like 84 different ways you could create content today. You could create content for the next month, but these are the ones that I want to start getting like stirring and purring in your system to give you these different ideas of how to express yourself online and how to genuinely get excited to show up and create content for your business. Because gone are the days of posting and ghosting. Like 2+ years ago, I used to be the bird that I would only show up like 2 or 3 times a week. It was like very airy fairy, very like, this is the channeled message, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Instead of being like sharp and to the point and crystal clear in what I was saying, it was very floaty. And I don't want you to feel like that. I want you to feel like you know what you're going to say every single day, that you have this fire in your belly that cannot stop you from showing up as the boldest, loudest, weirdest, most self-expressed version of you on social media. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see. And again, these are ideas. These are for you to take and make your own. These are for you to play and experiment with, because at the end of the day, content creation is experimentation. I was saying on my masterclass last week that I had been watching a TikTok and this guy was like, hey, if my videos, if I don't at least have like 2 flops per week, I'm not trying hard enough. So honestly, if you could put your ego aside for a second and put your hurt feelings aside for a second and just pull up your freaking big girl pants and realize every single time that I create on social media is an experiment to help me get better, you are going to go so much further than 99% of the people in this world, in online business. And so let's start to get playful with these different ways that you can post. So whenever we're talking about these ideas, even if you literally just recycled these 7 ideas of what to post, you would have content ideas every single day, right? Even if you just kept doing this week after week, I promise you, if you even did nothing but these 7 things and you repeated it 4 times, your content game would get so fucking strong. You would have so many ideas just like coming out your butt that you wouldn't even know what to do with yourself. You'll be so excited. Like the feeling of, oh my gosh, I already know what I'm going to have ready to post tomorrow. And this is so juicy and this is so good. It is one of the best feelings ever. And so the very first thing I really want you to get familiar with, and I bring these over to TikTok. Like I don't know about you, but I hate fucking rules. Like I honestly hate rules whenever it comes to like, you should be posting like this on Threads. You should be posting like this on LinkedIn. You should be posting like this on Instagram. And of course, there's a little learning and a little bit of wiggle room that like happens with that kind of stuff. But I love like taking carousels and using them everywhere and showing this, like putting it out there everywhere, because like at the end of the day, you in your social media, it's your job to be visible. It is your job to be visible. And you should like, especially whenever you're starting, especially in like those first 2 or 3 years, you should just be putting yourself, plastering it all over and seeing how things perform on different platforms, seeing how things perform in different ways that you're saying it. But the very first thing that you're probably not doing enough of, that I've talked about before and I'll talk about until kingdom come, is storytelling. Are you using carousel posts to tell your story? Whenever we start to tell our story, it gives people a sense of who we are. It gives people a sense of our past and what we come from. And honestly, it makes people not feel so alone. It makes people feel like they are capable of accomplishing the things that you've already accomplished, and you're here to tell the story about it. I had something happen. Actually, I've had this happen multiple times where I realized, like I've been at business retreats where I would tell my story and the way, like about being a lavender farmer and a psychic medium and doing like mediumship readings, and the way people's faces would light up and they would be dumbfounded on something that I didn't think was that crazy cool. Like your story is here to inspire other people. Even if you think it is so simple, you have no idea what it does to somebody's brain, what it ignites in their mind too. And even if it's something that you're like, oh, my story's boring, you've got to make your story important. You've got to make, there's the neighbor dog. You've got to make your story so fucking important that you honestly you know what kind of transformation you can help people with, right? And so whenever you come back to the fact that like your story is incredible, it's here to make a splash, it's here to make a change for other people and show them an easier way of doing it, you're going to be much louder and prouder whenever it comes to showing up and creating these carousel posts that at least once a week you're telling your story. I had done probably 2 of these this week where it was like, honest to God, more conversational storytelling. The first one was behind like why I am so we're gonna shut this window. That little stinker. The neighbor dog is so cute, but he is such a stinker. They've always got something going on over there. In between, in between putting in their pool and their noisy little dog, I'm like, yeah, little stinker. But okay. So it's one of those things that truly, whenever you lean into your story, you feel so much more confident in your message. And your story can be broken up into so many different pieces, is the crazy thing. There isn't just one way for you to tell your story. There are multiple different stories, whether it's like certain offers that you have or certain lessons that you're teaching. So, what I was saying was, I kind of did this twice this week actually with storytelling carousels, where one of them was like how I started to become really, really consistent in my business. And that was through being more consistent in my life. That was through me being the kind of person that used to drink every day and smoke 2 packs of cigarettes. And I wasn't healthy and all this, that, the other. And how I flipped that and I became a really consistent, discipline driven person. You know, there's other stories that you can just break up in little pieces and explain what it is that you give people the transformation for. So, honestly, I'm so tired of this idea of feeling like a broken record. Like this whole thing of like, what if I keep selling like this? Or what if I keep telling the story? I'm going to bore people. No, you're not. You never know who it is that's going to be coming into your audience that needs your story today. So start showing up like a powerhouse that like fully believes in what it is that you're teaching and the journey that you've gone through. Like you haven't just experienced these things for no la-di-da reason. Like you've gone, like every single piece of your life is dripping in gold. Every single thing that you've navigated through is something that you can turn into a piece of content. And I know that that's like, it's so funny how people get like all controversial about that. They're like, your life isn't supposed to be content. I'm like, yes, it is. Like, I'm going to use my life in every way, shape, and form from all of these different angles so that I can teach and I can make somebody else's life easier or give them an idea of how to do something better, right? So really leaning into a storytelling piece at least once a week is going to be not only good for your audience to get to know you and who you are and what your background is, it's going to differentiate you from everybody else online because we all have a different story of how we got here. And you never know like what piece of your story is going to feel like ring a ding ding to that soulmate client that's like, oh my gosh, like I want to learn more from this person, but also it gives you this like deeper sense of self, this deeper sense of your mission and what you are here to accomplish, right? So I think storytelling 12 out of 10 is one of the best things that you can do at least once a week in your content, right? And like I said, you can break it down into other pieces. You can tell different parts of your story. And so use it, lean into these different pieces. But it's really this like self-importance part. Hey, Oliver, it's really this like self-importance part that comes into play of realizing like, hey, I am here to make an impact through what I've already experienced. The next day, so I called this one Tuesday. On Tuesday, posting Wordy Reels. And you've seen, if you're over on Instagram, you've seen plenty of different kinds of reels. A lot of them like start to get boring after a while, to be honest with you. But one of the things I've like been very drawn to lately is these like wordier reels that it's like you in the background, like B-roll footage, and there's just, it's all of this like thick chunky text, but it allows you to get your message across to the right kind of people that are drawn to that B-roll footage in the background or drawn to what it is that you're doing. And so these wordy reels let you get out so much more information than just the old like hook and then like read the caption, like hook and then read the caption. This lets people get to know you on a more intimate level. And whenever you have that more space to speak about who you are, what it is that you do, it makes people feel connected to you on a much deeper level and like genuinely curious to go over to your page. Like there's been people that I've scrolled or I've seen like just going through, saving different audios for, usually like reels or TikTok videos. I'll go through and I'll see somebody with like that thick, wordy reel, and I'll be like, oh, this is like my kind of person. I love what it is that they're saying in here. So, this is your opportunity to really put it out there of like who you are and what you do, and even the things that you like. And so, you could say things like point of view. So for me, I'm a 33-year-old who loves reading smutty fantasy books, and I help people become more confident online. I help people learn their gene keys. I help people be more consistent and creative in their content. You know what I mean? So like use that like point of view. Like this is who I am. This is what I love, even what you love outside of your business, and this is what I help people with. And if you can like keep repeating that in different ways, and even like you help people with different things, like we're not just one thing. I'm such a big believer that like our overarching brand is like these 3 to 5 lessons that we're really teaching people. So me, for my own example, I teach people about consistency, about confidence online, about using their voice, about the strengths in their chart of their gene keys, like about their content, things like that. You've got this little bucket of different things that you teach about. And so just playing around with different ways you can let people get to know you through those wordy reels is going to be really fun. And it's just going to make you feel like artistic and creative. And you get to use that B-roll footage of like, what is shit you do every day? Like, what is something that you're doing every single day, anyways, that you could put in the background of that reel? And so I know some people that I've worked with that are like obsessed with making like fancy coffees. It's like, girl, record yourself more making your fancy coffees and put your lesson over it. Like people that have like chicken coops, it's like record yourself in your chicken coop doing that. I have people that like love being outside and love like meditating in the sunshine. It's like record yourself doing that and put your lesson over it. I do it while I'm hula hooping. I freaking love hula hooping. Like I like to teach myself little tricks and stuff like that. Hey, Nicole, but I'm just in it for like the duration. Like I just like to do it for like the workout. I have a 10-pound hula hoop, and I will literally record myself doing that all the time and then put wordy reels, like wordy chunky information over that. And that gives people a sense of who I am, whether they're just like playing around, scrolling through things, or they've been on my page for a while, but maybe they don't really know me. And so use this B-roll footage, use this like wordy reel to let people in more on who you are and what it is that you do. This one's called Wednesday. So I'm a little carousel slut. Like I do not care. Like I am a little carousel hoe for show. Like I love making carousels, and I think that they are the coolest thing ever. And so this is where we start to get like even more playful. And if you have not downloaded my freebie that is 107 content hooks, like these are ideas for you to use for your carousel posts. These are ideas for you to use for your TikToks. These are ideas for you to use for live video, like ideas for live video. I'm such a big like hook person, because hooks, if you've never heard me talk about hooks before, a lot of people talk crap about them, but honestly, I think that they are like the grooviest juice in the galaxy, because it's almost like I was doing this for myself. And that's why I created this as a freebie, because I was literally just writing down all these hooks that I would see and I would love, whether it be from a commercial, whether it be from a reel, whether it be something that just came up in my head, or I saw somebody else post it and I was like, ooh, I could fit my lesson into the way that that's being framed. Like hooks give you endless ideas for how to get all of that big squishy juice that's in your brain and bring it out into the world and teach people a lesson. And so really like lean into these different hooks. Go download that freebie that I have on my profile and use that multiple times a week. Honestly, I would lean into this harder than any of the other ones, because whenever you're first showing up in your first couple years in your business, you're teaching people how to do something easier. And whenever you use these carousels, like make sure that you've got the space and you've got enough like area for you to really like talk conversationally with people while you're teaching these lessons. And so I kind of do go back and forth from like these conversational ones versus like frameworks, like do these things, like do these 7 things, or like these are 7 signs that you're ready to blank. You know what I mean? So play around with these carousels. So like something that I put here is how to do blank, like whatever this person's goal is, how to, like fitness ones are so easy, right? How to lose 10 pounds in 3 months. You know what I mean? It's like so simple as that, but like that's where you get to like through these like frameworks of how to do this, you get to teach people and show people your method and your way of doing it that maybe they haven't seen before. And the more you continue to make this kind of content, I promise you this, the more you'll start to have your own spin on it. And I think that's where people start talking crap about hooks because they forget the fact that like once you do it long enough, it doesn't even feel like you're using hooks anymore because it's so natural to you to like say things in a way that's captivating to people, that you say things in a way that like gets people's attention and makes them curious and makes them want to keep reading what it is that you're posting. So I love like a good 7 signs you're ready to do blank. Like it's a spot for you to just like value bomb the heck out of your audience and let them see your method of teaching. Let them see what it is that you think is important about this topic for people to either be like yay or nay. Every time you show up on social media, whether you're talking or whether you're writing, you are literally giving people the opportunity to say yay or nay to your work. And so see it like that. See it as an opportunity for somebody to invest or for somebody to get the heck out of your community that doesn't need to be there anyways. Like every time you show up, instead of posting and ghosting or twirling your thumbs or doubting yourself or keeping these ideas in your notes section, every time you show up, you are getting yourself closer and closer and closer to where you want to be and the impact that you want to create. So this is for Thursday. And again, take these as ideas. You are smart. You are wise enough to know which ones of these are for you and which ones are not, or which ones of these spark a different idea for you to create something totally new. Like I'm here to be your idea machine. I'm here to be your best friend whenever it comes to content creativity. And I want all of these things to just give you this fuel and this fire in your belly to create in an even more fun, impactful way. Okay, so we're going back to reels on Thursday. So funny trending reels. Like I believe that if you're like hanging out with me, if you're listening to my podcast, if you're watching this YouTube video, you literally have a sense of humor. Like you are a person that has a funny, weird strangeness about you, and like that shit should be celebrated. Like we should plaster that all over your social media. And so this is where you get to use those like trending audios and make it your own. You get to use those trending audios and make it your own. And in these trending audios, this is where we get to get hook heavy again. But instead of it being in the carousel form, it's like this one sentence that's just going to pop, that's just going to like blow people's mind, that like the people that need this, it's like, whoa, what is it that she's saying? What is it that she's teaching? And then you get to explain even further. You kind of get to like info dump and intrigue and entertain people down inside that caption. But it is that thing, it's that first hook whenever you have that funny trending audio that really grabs people's attention, because it's even as simple as the faces that you make while you're making a video that will make people be like, oh my gosh, I like this person, or like, oh my gosh, this person's not for me. It is the funniest thing. And it's got nothing to do with whether you are a smoke show or like it does not matter about how you truly see yourself. It's how you're showing up that gives people the opportunity to be like, this person's for me, this person's not for me, right? And so whenever we use these like funny trending reels, like don't pick out the ones just because they're trending. Like I'm such a big believer in this whenever it comes to the next one that I'm going to be talking about. And these reels, like if you hate something just because, hey, Kira, if you hate something, even though it's trending, that doesn't mean you have to go make a video from it. Like make it be something that you love. Like if you love The Office, like go make a bunch of really funny, go make a bunch of really funny, like captivating reels from those things from The Office, from like silly parts of The Office. Like take the audio from that and use it. If you love like Friends, if you're like crazy about Friends, like go take funny audios from Friends and make videos about it, because you're literally giving people a peek inside what you love. Like you're not just creating because something's trending, you're creating because you love it. So like for me, I would sit there, I love Schitt's Creek, right? I would do like David and Alexis ones. Like that sounds like fun. Right. And so this goes even into the next day. Like that part of this lesson goes even into the next day. Meme it up. We're talking Friday. Like make some memes. If you are somebody with a sense of humor on this internet and you're teaching something, I don't even care if you're teaching about intuitive eating, or you're teaching about how to help people bake in a much more simple way, or like spirituality, or you're teaching business, or you're teaching content, like use memes, because I don't think there's enough people making really funny niche memes out there online, and your people are hungry for it. Like they're going to feel so seen whenever like they see a meme that's speaking directly to them. That's going to make them feel like, oh my God, I love this person. Like there's enough serious shit on social media. And I am serious as a squirrel. Like whenever it comes to like you being a leader, you using your voice, you showing up consistently, like I'm serious as fuck. Like I am professional, but I also love whenever people have a sense of humor and they bring that into their work. And so that is how you're going to get people to not only like listen to those really deep, bigger lessons that you have, but also feel like lighter, also feel entertained, also have so much fun whenever they're on your page. Yeah, you agree so much. I know. The moment that I started making memes for my business is the moment that everything started to change, because I felt more self-expressed. Like I started having more fun, and people picked up on that and were like, oh my God, this is great. Like I want to see more of these. And so this is where you get to be a little Pinterest hunter. You get to go, like I have like truly trained my Pinterest to work for me, where it shows me like really funny things. Like I do a lot of shit with like Kermit the Frog, funny, like funny things, or like Elmo, or like I said, Schitt's Creek, like pictures, videos, GIFs from things that you actually love, and making a meme out of that. So I see people that love Taylor Swift, they'll make memes with Taylor Swift. Now, I'm not as big of a Taylor Swift person, so I don't really use her stuff unless for some reason I'm like, oh my God, that face she's making is like everything. Like that feels like how my soul feels. You know what I mean? Like go and find the things from stuff you already like, because that's going to be just another calling card to the people that they already like you. They already are starting to get to know you and what it is that you're teaching about. But then if you share something that's like your sense of humor, they feel like they know you on a much deeper level. They do. And it's so funny. I've done so many podcast episodes with other entrepreneurs, and the TV shows they like are different. Their sense of humor is different. Like we're all so different. So whenever you share that part of yourself, that is whenever you are opening the door for the other people that like those things too, to just be totally smitten and totally into your world. Okay. Yeah. And these memes, you can make it like a one-liner, or you can, I love to take them and like turn them into a carousel lesson too. So like even if I'm like just typing in my notes section, or I type it up on my Canva, like it could just be like a one and done thing. Or even like sometimes I'll do like a little montage of memes where I'll have like 8 pictures in a row of like different little lessons and different little one-liners that I'm like, this is so fun. This is so me. This is showing like the values of my brand, the beliefs that I have. And that like just gives people an opportunity to get to know me even more. They love it. I work with live streaming company, and they have a meme section where people can express memes. Oh, I love that. Memes are so much fun. And so start training your Pinterest to work for you, because like I would literally sometimes, instead of like scrolling social media, I would just get on Pinterest and click different pictures that like would take me on like a rabbit hole search into more and more and more things, so that the next time that I showed up like and opened up my Pinterest, it would show me funny pictures that I didn't even have to search for, or stuff from like TV shows or people that I like that I didn't even have to search for. Like I've been using a lot of like Trixie Mattel gifts. Like if you like RuPaul's Drag Race or you watch like Trixie and Katya stuff, like I love her. And so I put her in my stuff. Like I love that. And so use this as a place to let people get to know you, not only the lessons that you teach, but like who you are and what you enjoy. And it will skyrocket the connection that you have with your audience. The next one is, oh, and this is like so simple, but powerful. And I've been playing around with this a lot lately in the past, probably like 2 months. But like, what happened to the old single photo, like OG method of posting on Instagram? Like just having this single stagnant photo and then just going for it in the caption and just like writing to your heart's content, like just pouring it all out like a singular lesson that like this photo brings out in you, right? And so my like there it was Devin who I had on my podcast a couple months back. And I remember she had a post a while ago that was talking about like the entrepreneurial urge to turn every single photo into a carousel, which we love carousels. Like, don't get me wrong, I love carousels, but it's so true. Like, you just want to keep teaching as an entrepreneur and you want it to be longer and like have something for people to swipe. Oh, you overthink it. Yeah. It's literally something like content should be playful. Like we get to be playful. And the more you see this as like art, like, and I'm going to do another and may do this one tomorrow whenever I go live and record, that's going to be talking about like red flags with your content. So like buckle up and get ready for that because we'll go even deeper into what you're saying, Kira. But yeah, the single photos is something that is like so powerful and it's kind of like a statement piece. Like think about the one piece of clothing you have that can go with like multiple outfits. Like this one single photo is like this statement piece and you get to just go deep into one lesson that you feel is really important and kind of just like pour out your little heart and soul to your audience in that caption. And so I call it heavy captioning below. And it's something that as I've been a content creator, very like showing up every single day for 2 years now, I've gone back and forth with lighter captions and with heavier captions. And I've come to find a real like equilibrium of both, of like different times for different things. Like different kinds of posts need different kinds of things. And of course, like it comes to like your amount of time that you have in your day or like what's going on. But truly like use the caption for that single photo, that OG method, and really just make it powerful so that when people click on it, it's different than what everybody else is seeing because everybody has the swipe or everybody has a reel or a video. It's something that's just there that's not like jarring their energy. It just feels solid. It feels grounded and it feels like you. And it's a chance for you to just express yourself right there and teach a lesson. Okay. But yes. And then Sunday, this is one of my other favorite things other than memes to do in my content because I love a good success story. Like I love hearing about people's journeys. I love listening to whether it be celebrities or people from the past that have these incredible things that they said that like it doesn't matter when it was said, it like echoes throughout time. And so I love a good post that's based on a quote. And this is one of those things that you could just like post a quote as it is and then have like a little one-liner or have like explain in your caption why it's so important to you. Or you can take a quote from somebody that you like and then make it into like a whole carousel post explaining how you interpret that and how you use that in your business, in your work that you do, and why it's important to you. And that will like, again, I talk about like Jerry Seinfeld a lot. Like I love his stuff. I talk about like Albert Einstein. I think he was like very strange, even though I'm not like a big science person. Like I just love the way that he thought about things and the way that he like the quotes that he said. I did a quote on like Walt Disney a couple weeks ago. I did one on because like I love just like entrepreneurial minds. Like the way that people that have built empires, I love the way that their brain thinks, right? And so those are a lot of times like these people that are original and are doing something that nobody else has done before. I love to take like their quotes of like people that I think have really important messages that more people need to hear and put that on my social media. And then like take it and say like, this is what I've learned from this. This is how I interpret this. This is how I use this with my clients, this idea. And so there's like a sense of it that's an attention grabber, because it's like, oh, that says Albert Einstein, or oh, that says like Walt Disney, or oh, that says, whoever it is that you take a quote from that you really enjoy. But also, it helps people see a side of you in the lessons that you teach and what you think is important, like what's part of your value system as an entrepreneur, as a teacher, as a person that shows up and creates content. And that is truly like, they're great idea sparkers. Like everything that we're talking about today is not for you to like live and die by. Like there's no way you can copy somebody else's business or copy the things that they do. What this is today is ideas for you to take, to play with, and to make your own. And to make your own in a way that feels really fucking groovy to you and really incredible to you and really exciting, so that like you genuinely get happy to show up on social media every single day. There was a time, and if you're on my podcast, if you heard me talk before, you've heard me tell the story, and I don't care, because this is so important. I used to sit like, actually, I would walk around in circles like a crazy person in my closet, and I would cry because I was like, I know I need to be posting on social media. I know I have all these really cool things that I can teach people, but I don't know how to say it in a way that like feels good to me. And I wasn't brave. I wasn't being bold. And I was scared of like how I would be perceived online, right? And what happened whenever I started like just having these structures of like what we talked about today, like these 7 different ideas, or even like having a whole list of hooks that I could play off of every single day. Whenever I woke up, I then had something to go off of. And I then had something to get better and better and better at, whether the message got clearer, whether my actual images that I was using, the font that I was using, the way that it was laid out looked a little bit more professional. Like it's every single day, whenever you show up and you create, you are growing, you are expanding, you are learning. And here's the really cool thing is you get to make money while you do that. You get to work with clients while you do that. You get to keep getting better every single day. That's what this is. Like, you've got to learn to gaslight yourself to love content. And if like when I say that, if you're just like, no, then maybe this whole thing isn't for you. Maybe you're somebody that needs to go hire somebody to do your content creation. But for me, I truly had to gaslight myself into loving this. And now I cannot picture my day without creating content. It is my soul's expression. It is truly my art. Every morning, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I post my content. If I have to go into my side job, I wake up early, I brush my teeth, I post my content. I give myself that ample space to create every single day, to let this artistic side come out of me, because I know the more that I'm enjoying this process and the more ideas that are flowing through me, the more people are going to get out of this content. And the more people are going to say, hey, you are the person that I'm here and I'm ready to work with. Hey, the way that you teach this is the way that I need to learn this. So never underestimate the power of start paying attention. Start paying attention to the pieces of content that you are captivated by. Like, we don't just get on social media to like mindlessly scroll and consume. Like, think about it as every time you are scrolling, you're just being this little observer that's like, hey, I really like the way that that's set up, or hey, I really like the way that this looks, or hey, I really like the way that they started that video. And then take the pieces that you need and create for yourself. Play with it, blend it, melt it in different ways, and make it your own. Like it's like 2 different color crayons that you melt down, and then you make your own color out of it, right? Like your social media doesn't need to be this carbon copy of everybody else. Because if you go on the explore page, there's plenty of people whose shit looks the exact same. And first and foremost, I'd rather you create and then your self-expression and the you that really shines in your content comes through. But it's like this repetition game. Like I said, I had been studying content like nonstop for over a year at one point, and I had somebody tell me, hey, your stuff actually needs more depth. And that was one of those holy shit moments for me that challenged me to rise above and challenged me to be greater at my content and challenged me to be smarter about the way that I showed up. But I had the consistency piece down then, but I just needed more power behind it, more oomph behind it, more sharpness behind it. And that comes with time, just like an ice sculpture, just like a swan that you would create out of ice. You have to chop away those big pieces to get down to the nitty-gritty details. I feel like copying and running in place makes it boring. I need to switch it up and light my passion for sure. And it's truly one of those things. The more that you do it, the more it feels like you, the more self-expressed you become, the more that you like, literally, like we were saying earlier, you take those B-roll footages of what you do every day. And there was a time where I was like, Stephanie, what do you do that's interesting every day? Like, you're not sitting there painting a picture or baking bread, even though my husband bakes bread and he's phenomenal at it. It was like, oh, I like to hula hoop. Oh, I like to go for walks. Oh, I like to stretch on the floor. Like shit that I'm doing anyways every day that feels like me. And whenever I like pour my heart out on top of that or like say who I am and what I do on top of that, that is the magnet. That is the magnet or the repellent for the right and wrong people, right? That brings in the people that need your message and it pushes away the ones that are not for you. But it's just about this consistency. I'm dropping these 7 ideas because I want you to feel so fucking good being consistent. I want you to have ideas that there's no excuse in this universe anymore for you to not create. Like whenever we see all 7 of these laid out, and you can go to my Instagram and you can like actually look at these, or you can go watch this on YouTube and see them like pulled up so you can actually see them. It's one of those things where you no longer have an excuse to not show up. If you literally blend these 7 ideas with my 107 content hooks freebies, both of those things, free advice for you, free idea machine for you to go and create from, for you to go and feel like the most self-expressed version of yourself from, you'll never have a day without a content idea again. You're inviting people into your space. Oh, yes, for sure. The more that you show up, the more you are just like opening this bridge for people to walk down and say, hey, you're my person. And I promise you, the more consistent you are with this content piece, the more fun you're going to have with it, the more fun that you have with it, the more people can feel that. And the more people feel that, the more they want to get into your world and your brand grows, your audience grows, your impact, your confidence grows because you are willing to show up every single day and get better. So, did we make it through all the days? Yes, we did. It's one of those things that I never want you to underestimate the power of showing up on social media and getting really good at content. Like, if you're here and if you're listening to this, it's for a reason. It's because you have something to share with the world. You have an incredible voice. You have an incredible message. You have something that you're meant to bring to this planet. And so we no longer have any fucking excuse. Like I did a post the other day that talked about the fact it's like people used to have to travel on horseback from city to city, state to state to get their message across. And now we've got people saying, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to show up. Baloney. You've got all of the tools that you need from what we talked about today, from that 107 freebie hook, from even just like literally Googling hooks or literally just studying other ways that people phrase things and then plugging and playing that or bending and moving that to fit into what you teach. It's going to create so many ideas for you and it's going to make you feel like this unstoppable force of nature. And whenever you just have this desire and this drive to get better at creating content, the clients will come in naturally. The flow, the ideas of different offers will come in naturally because I like literally every day that you're creating content is basically like a mini mastermind. That's why I've truly turned my Instagram posts into actual masterclasses that I put up on YouTube now, that I take and I use in my podcast episodes, that I use to get on lives and talk. Like, if you're going to be making content, you might as well use it 6 ways to Sunday because it's going to be the foundation of what it is that you help people with and how it is that you teach. So, I love, 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 love you. Hey, Amanda, I'm so happy that you got to jump in and join this. If you didn't get to hear the whole thing, make sure you go over to the Tap That Magic podcast. You go over to Hey Stephanie Eastman on YouTube and watch this back again. You go on Instagram and you see this post laid out. It says what to post every day on socials this week. You got to scroll down a little bit, but I just knew, I was like, what do I want to talk about today? And I knew this one was really important and I didn't want to skip over it. And I wanted to come back to it again because it is so powerful and it gives you no excuses anymore to not show up as the biggest, boldest, baddest, most powerful version of you online. And if this feels like something that you need help with, if this feels like, hey, Stephanie, I love the way that you teach this kind of stuff, and I would love to have you in my corner, reach out to me. I want to work with you. I want to help you feel self-expressed. I want to help you feel confident. I want to help you feel weird, wild, and wonderful as you show up and you create. You have crystal clear messaging and you just feel like the most badass version of you as you show up online. So I love, love, love you. I hope you have the most beautiful rest of your day and go take this shit and freaking run with it. All right. Bye-bye.